Hey guys, it's me, Mr. 250, and welcome back to 999. So I think this is where we're going to start off from, just because I noticed something. So, just so you know, this is the point where Seven's telling his story that he told us in the first ending that we had of the submarine ending. And it's all the same, and so I'm going to skip most of it. I've already skipped about half of it so far, but there was one little thing I'd like to note here. So, at this point, you remember where Seven hears kids. You know, he hears a voice and he later finds out it's kids and it says there over there, it's 9. I'm kind of curious if that means anything. I mean, I know it means something, but I'm wondering, did they find the number 9 door, or maybe they found the number 9 person? Because they're playing the Nonnery game. Theoretically, we know the game was played, and I think he was on the boat when the game was played. Anyway, I'm going to keep skipping till I find something else, so see you guys in a bit. Okay, welcome back. So I figured out where we're at. I figured out I had to go rewatch my video to figure out exactly where the dialogue left off. So if you remember, Seven finds the grate under the bed, pulls it off, and Seven wiped the sweat from his forehead and crawled inside. At this point, Junpei's like, well, where's the rest of the story? And he's like, well, I can't really remember. And then he skips to, I think someone died. And that's basically the end of Seven's story. Now, though, we actually have new dialogue because he said he remembered everything. And I skipped through it and I was like, I don't remember this part. So the first section of the duct was small. Seven could do little more than wriggle along in his belly. After a time, however, it got a little larger, and even someone as large as Seven was able to crawl along on his hands and knees. He felt like he'd grown from an inchworm to an insect. Not much of an improvement, but it was better than nothing. He'd begun to wonder where the duct would take him when there was a thunder sound, like a massive metal door slamming shut. Then he heard a voice. Warning! Warning! Emergency incineration command has been acknowledged. Well, we remember that, don't we? In fact, I'm pretty sure we remember a lot about that. Automatic incineration will take place in 18 minutes. I wonder if that has something to do with the amount of players, considering that there's 2 sets of players. And maybe they're trying, maybe because it only took 9 minutes for this game, that means that there are only 9 players. There's not a second team of people out in Nevada or whatever. Please evacuate the incinerator immediately. Also, it would have been tough to, like, sit there for 18 minutes and still be tense and not have people just sitting around trying to bide their time till the incinerator caught on fire. Repeat. Emergency incineration command has been acknowledged. The voice wasn't harsh, but something about the calm with which it spoke made it even more terrifying. Seven wasn't sure what it meant, but incinerator certainly didn't sound good. Then, almost as if to confirm his suspicions, he heard a chorus of young voices. No! Help me! With many of the voices were simply screaming in terror, mixing with one another to create a single horrifying howl. What the heck is going on in here? Seven began to crawl along the duct as fast as his arms and legs would carry him. The noise he made was tremendous, but he was long past carrying. A few moments later, a metal door appeared on the left side of the duct. Seven could hear the screams of the children from the other side of it. This was it! He grabbed hold of the handle and threw the door open. The old metal gave way easily before his onslaught. What the heck is this place? And that's the picture that we saw, where he said, I think someone died. The room he was looking out into had a dome for a ceiling and 9 equally sized walls. At the top of the dome was an upside down funnel. It looked almost like a chimney. Then he looked down. Ah, there they were. The children he'd been looking for. They stared up at Seven, their cries silenced, for the moment, by surprise and fear. Whether they were scared of the room or him, Seven couldn't tell. It was certainly possible that they were frightened of both. Not that I could blame them, running into a mug like this when they're already scared. He permitted himself a short snort of a laugh, then turned to the children again. Don't worry, kids. I'm not your enemy. I'm one of the good guys. Not a single one of them moved. Except for one. He was a boy, slightly older than the others, in a private school uniform. Who the heck are you? As he spoke, he took a tentative step forward and gave Seven a suspicious look. I'm a detective. I'm here to rescue you. The moment the words were out of his mouth, he could see the children relax. How are you going to help us? The boy in the uniform asked. Where's the exit? Seven responded. There isn't one. The doors we came in through won't open, and the door over there... He cut himself off, considered something, and then continued. Anyway, there's no point. We can't all get out of here. If we don't get out of here, we're going to be burned to death. Burned to death? Can't you hear it? The voice said the incinerator's going to start up soon. The voice spoke again. Automatic incineration will take place in 15 minutes. 15 minutes. They only had 15 minutes. Seven looked back down at the children. It was a good 20 or 30 feet from the floor. There was no way he could pull the children up. That was when he had an idea. Wait right there. I'm gonna be right back. What? Where is he going? Are you just gonna leave us here? Seven did his best to smile. What he felt was a reassuring smile. Don't worry, alright? I'll be back, I promise. So, just stay calm and wait right there, got it? He didn't wait to hear them respond. There wasn't time. He ran as fast as a man could run on his hands and knees. Before long, he was back in his cell. He was back where he had started, but he had a plan. There was something there that he needed. As soon as he was finished, he dove back into the duct and took off towards the incinerator. Sorry to keep you waiting, guys. Leaning out of the door in the duct, Seven lowered the rope he brought to the floor of the incinerator. Back in the cell, he torn the bed sheets into strips and tied them together to make a rope. Like Seven himself, it wasn't very attractive, but it got the job done. Alright, just tie that around yourself, okay? I'll pull you up one at a time. Right. Huh? Wait a sec. That was when he noticed. There was more of you before. Where'd the rest of you go? The boy in the uniform answered. I let them go on ahead. We opened the number 9 door and they left. What? You're telling me you opened that door? That's what I said. Then what are you doing in here? We couldn't go with them. Why not? Look, the only people who can go through the number door... It's kind of hard to explain a game like this to somebody in 5 minutes. The voice reverberated against the walls of the room. Look, that can wait, alright. Just get us out of here. Right. Seven grabbed a hold of the rope. First up was a girl with a ponytail. Next was a girl with a red necktie, followed by a boy in a jacket, who said he'd climb up on his own. The last step was the boy in the uniform. Like the boy in the jacket, he climbed up the rope himself. He looked scrawny from above, but his looked bellied impressive strength. He scaled the rope quickly, but as he was almost to 7... Wait, what? He heard the sound of someone knocking. All eyes turned to the door. Cut into it was a thick square window. On the other side, they could see a furious face. Oh, whoa. That's, scary. What's going on here? Why is this room empty? Where are those kids? Oh, because if you remember, in the original Nonary game, they had 4 people overseeing it. It wasn't, I guess they weren't all set up like this. So they had probably had somebody on the ship just watching them. The door opened, and a man stepped in, looking half mad with fury. Seven recognized his face. He'd seen him many times in photos during his investigation. The man's name was Kentaro Hongu, the CEO of Cradle Pharmaceutical. So you think that Ace would notice Seven as well. Maybe that's why Seven didn't have his memory, because he did something to him to make him forget. Hongu saw the boy hanging from the rope. He roared like an animal and lunged for the rope. Which is kind of funny considering the ending where we were in the incinerator. It would be funny that he would return there and end up dying in that same room. Hurry! I know! The boy in the uniform resumed to scramble up the rope. You! Get back here, you! He was 15 feet away, 10. The moment he came within arm's reach, 7 grabbed the boy in the uniform. With a jerk, he tossed him into the duct behind him. Yeah! No! Hongu had lost any semblance of control. His face no longer looked human, so it's kind of easy to see how he could be so evil now, just by seeing how bad he was before. His face no longer looked human, it was twisted into something terrifying, the visage of a devil, or a ferocious monster. Seven quickly reeled in his rope, leaving a furious Hongu on the floor of the room, and crawled back into the duct. You won't get away with this! How dare you compromise this experiment? What experiment? Seven wondered. Automatic incineration will take place in 1 minute. Hey, old man, what are you doing? Hurry up! It was the boy in the uniform. Seven tossed Hongu a taunting salute and pulled the door closed. There was no point to going back to Seven's cell, so they continued down the duct in the other direction. After 30 feet or so, the duct met with theirs, heading down. They nodded at one another, then turned and slid down the duct. A short time later, they crawled out of the duct to find themselves in a narrow hallway. There was a door on each side of it. The one on the left was a normal double door, but the one on the right was a familiar thick metal door with a black and yellow stripes and a device next to it on the wall. On the door was a plate that read Incinerator. Then, that's where we were? Yeah. Hongu might still be there. It looks like it's been shut off though. Wait, what if he's still in there? Yeah, that's not good. Seven grunted. Fine, the other door. Go in the other door, hurry. The children began to run, with Seven following close behind them. Where the heck is this? On the other side of the door was a large spiral staircase. Wait, are we on the other side of the 9 door, perhaps? Run! Seven shouted. They didn't need to be told twice. Up and up they went. Their feet pounded against the steps, and their arms churned the air. Round and round and round they went, like a human tornado. The stairway kept going. Oh, that's a cool picture. I like that. Wait, is that Snake? That looks like him. I like that picture. They passed a couple rooms that looked to be dance halls when the boy in the uniform spoke. Something's up. Connie's not catching up to us. Connie? My kid sister. The girl with the red necktie. Connie, that was strange. Seven didn't remember seeing that name in the list of children who'd gone missing. Hey, Connie! He cupped his hands around his mouth and yelled. There was no response. Maybe we outran her? Suddenly, the boy in the uniform stopped short. Seven stopped too, as did the boy in the jacket and the ponytailed girl. When did we do that? Well, we passed a couple big rooms on the way here. Maybe she took a rest in one of them? No, that's impossible. Sorry, Grandpa, you keep going. I gotta go look for her downstairs. He turned to go. Hey, kid, wait. I said wait. The boy didn't even seem to hear him. Seven spun around and yelled to the boy in the jacket and the girl with the ponytail. I'm going after him. You two keep going, alright, you got it? The girl nodded and began to run up the stairs. The boy, however, I'm going with you. Seven didn't have time to argue. Instead, he simply nodded and took off down the stairs. The boy in the jacket followed. They ran all the way to the bottom floor, calling for her. Connie was nowhere to be found. Where did she go? The boy in the uniform couldn't hide his frustration. Help me! Somebody help me! It was a girl's voice. Connie! The boy in the uniform threw open the door and leapt into the hallway that faced the incinerator. Seven and the boy in the jacket followed. Seven couldn't believe what he saw. Honggu had grabbed Akane by the arm and was doing his utmost to force her into the incinerator. Come on, move! No, I don't want to! Let me go! Please, let go of me! She had planted her feet squarely on the floor and was doing her best to get away, but Honggu was much larger than she was. She wasn't going to win. Akane! The boy in the uniform shouted. He roared with anger and charged towards Honggu. You came back! Ha, you're too late, idiot! Honggu lifted Akane bodily from her feet and threw her, struggling, into the incinerator. Ah! Before Seven or the boy in the uniform could react, Honggu leapt through the door after her. They saw him land inside. And then the door slammed shut with the finality of a great steel guillotine. The three of them ran to the door. They pulled and strained, trying desperately to get it open. It's no use. The thing won't move an inch. The boy in the uniform cried out and began to slam his fist against the door. He hit it with such force, Seven feared his knuckles would shatter from the impact. Akane! Akane! Are you okay? Help me! Her voice was muffled by the door, but the sheer terror in it was unmistakable. What should I do? I think I'm trapped in here. Where's Honggu? He went out the other door. What? Warning. Warning. Emergency incinerator command has been acknowledged. Automatic incineration will take place in 18 minutes. Wow. Please evacuate the incinerator immediately. Repeat. Emergency incineration command has been acknowledged. Are you kidding me? Seven was at a loss. It's the same thing. Are you there? Akane's voice sounded close to tears. Yeah, we're here. Just hang on, alright? We're gonna figure out a way to save you. If she could have seen the bloodless face of the boy in the uniform, his words would have seemed like little more than a sick joke. Automatic incineration will take place in 17 minutes. Please, please help me. I'm really, really scared. I don't want to die. Please, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. It's gonna be alright. I'll figure something out. I promise. I promise, okay? You hear me? I promise. They could only hear her muffled sobs from the other side of the door. The boy in the uniform tightened his fist. His knuckles were a bloodless white. Seven could tell that he was holding back tears of his own. Is that it? It was silent. All they could hear was the creaking of the boat as it shifted in the water. They waited. And waited. But Seven didn't continue. What happened then? Junpei couldn't wait any longer. He had to know. Seven looked at the floor. Come on, man. Put yourself in my shoes. It doesn't end good. You think I want to remember that? Then, yeah. If I'd known it was going to be like this, I almost wish I hadn't remembered. Seven shook his head. But there was something Junpei had to know. Hey, are you sure? Huh? Look, I don't want to ask this either, but there's something I don't get. So, if you could just tell me, did that girl Akane really... Seven stared straight ahead at nothing. Yeah, I'm sure. There wasn't anything we could do. After a while, the countdown ended. And we heard something... burning. Even after the fire stopped, they couldn't move. Seven and the boy in the jacket simply stood where they were, frozen. The boy in the uniform collapsed, falling to the floor in a jumble of limbs, like a puppet whose strings had been cut. A few more minutes passed. The door opened. Oh boy, what's it? What are we gonna find in here? The boy in the uniform ran in, stumbling over his own feet. 7 and the boy in the jacket followed, still too numb to speak. The air in the incinerator was hot. Every breath made 7's lungs feel like they were on fire. The air shimmered with heat. And in the middle of the room, beneath the waves of heat, there it lay. The boy in the uniform walked towards it, his legs shaking violently. 7 couldn't see his face, but his body looked somehow empty. Finally, he reached it. The boy collapsed to his knees, his legs no longer able to support him. Ah! Junpei felt a cold lump form in the pit of his stomach. Now, of course, what does this mean for us? Like, you know, if we're going by the same thing, oh, Connie's a common name, but even still, the coincidence almost seems too much of a coincidence. A feeling of sickening anticipation washed over him. He could feel his body shivering. He desperately did not want to know the answer he feared he already knew, but he had to ask. He had to know for sure. Can I ask you one more thing? What? The girl, Akane, what was her last name? What does it matter to you? Just tell me, okay, please? 7 looked at Junpei curiously and ran his tongue quickly over his dry lips. Kurashiki. Her name was Akane Kurashiki. Something inside of Junpei stopped. He had no more words left. He had no more Junpei left. He was just a shell of flesh and bone. 7 turned to Snake. You were there that day, weren't you? The tall kid in the jacket. That was you, wasn't it? Yes, I was. You are correct, Detective. Junpei's mind was blank, withdrawn from the world. Somewhere far away, he could hear 7 and Snake talking. Don't misunderstand me. I told you before how Zero threatened me. There was nothing I could do. I couldn't say anything about what happened 9 years ago. So, you're saying you're not working for Zero, right? Of course not. Clover, what about you? Hey, come on! You really think I'm working with Zero? I told you before, you idiot. I was in Nevada in Building Q. I did hear that a detective rescued the kids on the boat, but I didn't know it was you. Her surprise seemed to be genuine. 7 regarded Clover for a moment and rubbed his chin thoughtfully. Well, I guess I believe you. Clover nodded. Alright, let me ask you another question. He stuck his hands into his pocket and took a few steps. Then he stopped and turned to face them again. Santa's real name is Oi Kurashiki. I guess that would make sense according to the news report. But it doesn't. Okay, so things just got weird again. It does look like him, I could see that. He's Akane's brother. You know that? No, I didn't. Did you? Well, yes, I know Oi Kurashiki was her brother. But I didn't know he was Santa, at least, not from the beginning. 9 years ago, he was in the middle of puberty. His voice is entirely different now. I'm ashamed to say that even my exceptional hearing wasn't able to make that connection. As such, I had no reason to think Santa was Oi. When did you figure it out? A short time ago, Clover told me that Santa might have been one of the subjects of the initial experiment. When she told me that, I had a feeling. Santa is Oi? Akane Kurashiki, Jun's brother? That spark caught flame in Junpei's leaden mind, and the fog began to clear. Like an engine beginning to turn, images and thoughts began to coalesce in his mind, coming faster and faster, forming bigger images, bigger thoughts. Junpei blinked. He was back. There's still a lot we don't know. I mean, like, a lot. But there is one thing I think we can say we know. What's that? The body we found in the shower room had to be Nijisaki, dressed up to look like Snake. That would make sense because I thought that the guy in that picture was Snake. It looked like him, but apparently not. And that wouldn't actually really make much sense if you think about it, because if he was in the game, how could he be one of the people running the game? I guess he could, but it just doesn't quite make sense. This makes a lot more sense. What? Come on, man. What kind of detective are you? You didn't figure that out already? Hey, go easy on me, man. I just got my memory back, alright? Cut me some slack. Well, if he is, the 3 murders make sense then, don't they? Yeah, that's right. Murder. Kubota blew himself up, but that was murder too. So, why did these murders take place? If Junpei is correct, and the body in the shower room is Nijisaki's, wait, what if Santa set this whole thing up to get revenge? That means that all of the people who were murdered were involved with the creation of the Nonary Project. Except Ace, because Ace isn't dead yet, right? Kabuta, the person who conducted the actual experiments. Of course, he could be because Santa's kind of got him under his control, so he could be dead by now, way dead. Nijisaki, Hongu's assistant. Mushishido, the man who financed the project. You mean this was all just revenge? Santa is Zero. He's getting revenge for the death of his sister. No, I don't think Santa actually murdered anyone. In fact, Junpei didn't think, he knew. He couldn't explain why or how, but he had no doubt that Santa had killed no one. Perhaps the madness of the last several hours were finally driving him insane, but Junpei had ceased to be surprised at his sudden knowledge, and had even begun to accept it. If I'm right, then it's not hard to figure out who the next victim's gonna be, is it? I'm pretty sure I don't have to tell you. Snake, Clover, and Seven all nodded. The next target will be Gintaro Hongu, the person who planned the Nonary Project. In other words, Ace. There was a moment of silence. And then the room shook. From far away, they heard the sudden rush of water. Whoa, what's going on here? It must be 6 a.m. Our time is up. Come on! We need to get out of here. How? In the drawer that had held the picture was a keycard. Junpei grabbed it. I'm betting this sucker opens the exit. Come on! Let's go! New material has been added to the file screen. Keycard O. Or 0. A card with a 0 in the middle of it. 0. 0. Ugh. Zero's just screwing with us, isn't he? And there you go. Alright, so we're going to stop for here for today. I have a feeling the game's going to get wrapped up pretty darn soon, and I hope you guys enjoy. All of this, like, revelation is really cool. I'm enjoying it a lot. Anyway, but I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and we will continue this next time with more 999. Bye!